So I was totally ready to go into this review hating this stand, because I thought it was just like the one that came with the original deluxe Chogokin VF-25S Messiah Valkyrie Ozma custom type that I reviewed that had the full armor pack. But in fact, this is actually pretty decent. I mean, it's still ugly as sin, but yeah, it's got the, the painted SMS logo on the bottom there and a weird kind of copper orange. I don't know why that is, because it's definitely more of a yellow on the wings there. But really, the thing that they improved completely on this stand is just the parts fit, because now this slides in and out really easily. This attaches and detaches from the airplane really easily. And yeah, let's get a good look at that. It's like, yeah, that's really orange. I don't know why it is, but whatever. SMS. Speed, miracle, spacey. And these parts are, actually they also come in and out. Oh, well, I guess they don't. Yeah, there it goes. And this too. But yeah, everything slides in and out really easily. All they did was take the same idea and just change the tolerances. So yeah, whatever. Hey, Ozma Valkyrie, Renewal type. Let's see if they got it right this time. Okay, the last time it wasn't as good. This is actually lighter than the last toy. And I appreciate that, because the original deluxe Chogokin VF-25 was a bit too heavy on the die-cast. It was in all the wrong places. The only really external parts you can see out of the box or in this mode is the landing gear, all metal, like a Yamato Valkyrie. And it's also the right size, nice long landing gear. And especially the nose wheel folds the right way. It folds down like this, with the pivot point at the back here, rather than up here at the front. And also, these are not made of crappy, crumbly plastic, the doors, and they have a nice, clean design on the hinge there. The rear wheels, they also roll very smoothly. They have a little joint, or a little click-in lock that keeps them in place, and of course they're also the proper size, and they look like actual landing gear. And okay, so die-cast, this part of the intake is metal, and this part of the hip joint here, we'll see that in more detail later on, is also metal, and a couple more pieces, and of course the whole interior of the feet here has, metal here, and the whole thruster assembly itself too. So that looks really nice, and it feels a lot better than the old toy. Everything feels more locked in place. I definitely like how it's lighter. It looks much better. The wings still have a bit of a curve upwards, but not as much as before. But yeah, looks a lot better. Looks very nice. The legs there's no gap here. There's no huge visible gap like in the old toy. And also the old model kit, they didn't get it right there either. But this is nice and filled up. And also one thing that I do like is that you can see there are slots here. There are little holes here all along the body. This part comes off, this particular section. It might come off when I transform it, but it just pops back on. And these come off too, just this particular panel right here. The top part comes off to show that, yes, they actually plan to have this have the armor on it, if you haven't been following the news. And also there's slots in the forearms there. And another thing too is that these are the proper size now, and they look a lot nicer. The little shin fins, I don't know what you call this part of an airplane. That's the one thing I don't know. And also the gun pod, actually, I'm just going to show you right now. This just slots between a couple of tabs in the forearms, which is wow, you needed a whole toy to figure that out. But to be fair to Bandai, there was no actual connection point in the original CG model, and in any Valkyrie except the VF-0, that whole area is pretty nebulous anyway. But yeah, gunpod, we'll get to that later. Main toy, still ranting. Other things I can talk about real quick is the cockpit now has full pilot figures for both Ozma, and as a little bonus, it comes with tiny little Roncoli. Now I want everyone at home right now to scream Ronka's name the way Alto does. Maybe post a video response. I want to hear that, because that's my favorite part of the show. Okay, so when you get rid of Ronka, you of course have the little extra seat in the back, and what you just do is you fold it down, and this is in there by default, this little cover piece, and you just get it in like that, and you just push it in, and it'll probably stay in there due to friction. So yeah, looks pretty nice. The canopy is slightly purple tinted, which you might like, you might not like, but that's how it is in the show, or at least how I remember it in the show. Okay, let's go to Gearwalk mode, where everything that is better about this toy starts to become evident. And okay, you can also click the wings into the most forward position, like in the opening for the TV show, which is kind of cool, but normally you just want them like this. Or all the way back like that for battle ride mode, but we'll keep them like this for now. Okay, so what you do, again, similar to the other toy, is you pop the wing roots up, and this time the locking tab is this peg right here, which just kind of fits into this little clip right there. So that's pretty cool. And you can just pull these down, little cow more hip thingies, and watch his. Just this one always pops off, but you know, it's on a ball joint and it's meant to come off anyway. Because I believe, I don't remember, even though I posted the news for this, that the super packs and armor packs are going to have this part you swap out to mount the super packs and armor packs. Okay, so just bring this down. Good ratcheted joints. Comes up very far forward. And what you need to do just to give the arms clearance to come out is you just pop the legs out. Now, this time, instead of having those really useless pegs, they have this full clip here that just goes into this square slot right here, and these hold in very well, unlike the old one where they just kind of, you know, rested in there, and they were okay, but didn't work too well. So with the arms, all you do is you just bring it and you pull them out. I would say the only problem with the way they do the arms on this is that you might have some rubbing with the paint and the tempo printing to this area right here underneath the back plate. But you know, people are going to complain about paint chipping on all kinds of toys, but at the end of the day, unless you're Duncan MacLeod, you're not going to get rid of or outlast entropy. Yeah, and just pop those back in. And a nice thing about this is it does have extending knee joints and nice smooth knee covers right there. And just one more thing is, like the model kit, when you flip this fin inside, it does stick out the back a little bit, which it doesn't do that in the show, but I never understood that how they fold up so nicely in the show anyway, so that's okay. Now, again, like a Yamato toy, this does have swivels up in the knee area to give the proper Gearwalk A stance. And also the whole ankle area has been redesigned. It's actually a bit more of a more complex, let's see if I can get this to come out because this thing is pretty fresh. A little pull-out joint there, so you can angle the feet a bit more securely when you're doing Gearwalk mode. And like the other Yamato Macross toys, this is all about the die-cast ball joints in there instead of traditional just ratcheted joints and swivel joints in the ankles. So we'll see how those hold up over time, but I'm not too worried. Alright, so you're going to want to get his shoulders pretty far forward so they don't hit parts of the wings. Okay, so that's pretty good there. And there's also this down here, this whole assembly. And actually I'm going to bring out this part first. This is an extra mounting bracket for the gun pod when this is in gearwalk mode. So what you do is you just bring this down, and you'll see there's actually a tab that will go into the slot in the groin area right here. And so that is what helps keep this thing all together. Keeps the back plate locked in place. And let's just use my magic wand to make my tripod grow so we can get a better angle there. So here we go. The VF-25S Deluxe Chogokin Ozma Valkyrie in gearwalk mode. Again, renewal version, not the one I reviewed before. Another thing you will notice is that this guy actually does have articulated hands instead of just the whole you had to swap the hands when you transform this thing. So this is kind of nice, you know, you don't have to swap hands, although they do in fact give you as an option, which I wish Yamato would do this more often, the full range of, you know, fixed post hands. You have hands for holding the gun, you have regular fists, fully closed, and you have the ever popular Nanto Seiken Master Fists, or hands, so that you can use your abilities to cut steel with just your fingertips. Okay, and one more thing is that the shield mounts a lot nicer here. It's just a couple of little, you can't quite see it, but there's a little pair of divots there that go on to little tabs right in the back there. So there's no slide out joint that kind of messes up these little thrusters in the back. It's just the nice, easy, simple tabs. That's a big theme with this toy. It's very simple and clean. Okay, and you just stick the shield on the arm, just plugs in. And it looks pretty nice, looks pretty proper. So you can mess with this and stick the gun pod into the hand, but I'm not going to bore you with that because I'm boring you with everything else. But with this, I should point this out that when you get it, make that go back in there. See, there's a peg that goes into that hole to keep that secure. So normally the handle is, it's not going to focus on a big black thing. Okay, so the handle actually, you can't pull this thing apart. You can't separate this thing because the handle is up. You pull it down to unlock the top part of the gun pod. So that works pretty well. Keeps it in place. I don't know why it's gray, because it used to be purple. It's purple in the show. Pretty sure it was still purple in the movies, but I guess it does look more badass like this to have the gun pod in this nice dark gray shiny plastic. So just for my own sanity, I'm just going to pop this in the fixed posed hand because it just fits in there. Or at least it should, because I actually didn't try this out before I shot this video. Oh, yeah, that's gonna get in there. I'm pretty sure I don't have to disassemble this hand to get the thing in there. Yeah, there it goes. There it goes, just kind of stuck on the end of the gun handle. And so just take it off. You'll notice that the ball joint is actually on the hand itself, not on the wrist. So you can't swap this with the older DX Chogokin Frontier Valkyries. So that's unfortunate, but well, that's progress. Okay, gearwalk mode. Gearwalk mode looks pretty cool, looks proper. And because the last one didn't have any swivels in the legs there, and it looked really awful in gearwalk mode. Anyways, even if you tried to fiddle with it to make it look right. So we're gonna go to Battleroid mode. It's very simple, really easy. You just kind of start unlocking stuff that you already did to do gearwalk mode, and just bring this whole thing back down and out of the way. And oh yeah, you can stick the gun. You can totally stick the gun on that little mount there, but I didn't because I didn't think of it. I'm not going to show you now. Look at the text review when I get around to putting that up. Alright, so we've got this whole thing down here swinging freely. We can start to bring that out. And we're just gonna pop this up and bring this whole thing up. Now, one thing, as you can hear the parts of this thing go against the table, is when you bring out the landing gear doors for this mode, make sure that they're behind this little whatever that is on the nose cone here, because when you bring the nose cone, the tip of the nose cone down, you want it like this, but you also want this sort of sandwiched between this little fin and the door, or you want the door sandwiched between this and the little fin. That's just so that when you bring this whole thing up here, this will all fit through cleanly. Okay, so we are going to unlock the back plate here and start bringing things out. Now this thing here, it actually does detach. I think this is meant to do that because it'll be part of the how you attach the armor, and also this part here, let's see if I can get my finger in there. These panels here also should definitely pose these out a little bit, but yeah, let's just check that out real quick. That these panels do in fact, there it goes. So you see this panel does come off, and that's how they're going to do the mounting the shoulder missile launchers for the super packs and the armor packs. So goes in and out, feels very solid. I like that they used the little circle slash vernier to help secure the thing, so that's pretty cool. So with the head, the neck, this is really the hardest part of transforming this thing, is this neck, because it's really tight on mine. You're going to take your finger and you're going to push it back. So it's going to snap up into place. And you're going to push in, let's see if we can get some light in there. This whole thing, you're just going to push it in and it'll snap into place as well. And then, again, make sure these are as compressed as they can be, and stick this whole thing through. And position that for the battery mode. And look, he has no neck, just like the first one. But wait, if you pull on this, you'll probably pull the head off, but we'll see what happens. Yep, totally happened. So let's look at that neck under there. A lot better than the last one. So the thing with this head, the way it actually comes up on this joint here, is that this socket is really deep, and there's sort of two areas that the ball locks into. So there's like a deeper area that it locks into, and there's actually a bit of a ridge in there that it locks into in the upward position. So yeah, so that's about where it needs to be, and I'm just going to get back under there and make sure I push the thing all the way out, because there is still a little bit of an issue just with getting this thing, or knowing when it is in the right place. That's really the only thing that I have a problem with this, with the new version, is not knowing quite if the head is all the way into the right place. Okay. And again, make sure this is right where it needs to be. Bring it down, and here we go. We're mostly done, so all we have to do now is employ Bandai's new ingenious way of making the crotch area lock into the upper body here, and that was to just do what the model kits did anyway, which is to have this die-cast bar here that the legs are mounted on. Just rotate upwards so that as you bring this whole thing down, this will clip in to the slots right there. And it is kind of annoying because the thing doesn't quite, there it goes. So yeah, Renewal version of VF-25S. Let me position his feet there so that he stands prim and proper. Right, pull him back a little bit and make the camera grow a little bit more. Okay. Okay, now let's look at this baby. Gotta say, Bandai, I'll give you the mulligan, because this is the toy I wanted the first time. This is what the thing should look like. This is a very, I mean, I kind of made the transformation look a little overwrought, but it's very easy to transform. The design is, at its heart, pretty simple. It's a pretty basic Valkyrie. It's not quite as crazy and worthy of my enormous praise that the VF-19 is, but it's still really, really cool. Now, with the head here, they changed a couple of details. The eyes are actually, they're all done in clear plastic with shiny paint behind them to give it the proper sheen. The sensor thing up here is actually clear plastic as well. And the details are just a little bit sharper, a lot nicer. It does have two sets of antenna. By default, you have this bendy PVC stuff, which is pretty good out of the box. It's a little floppy as far as the ball joint there for the antenna, head laser cannon things, but you do get a set of hard plastic ones, which are basically the same, but again, these aren't going to survive if you drop this thing on its head. Still, you can use these. Nice option. They often do this with Bandai toys, so pretty good. This doesn't actually have, oh, and one more thing. I always forget about this, but if you want to have the proper crotch thrust, you actually just, well, you hopefully you don't pop the back farther than it should go. Oops. I don't think it's supposed to do that. I don't think it's supposed to do that at all, because that doesn't look right at all right there. Oh no. Oh no! What did I do? Need to get that back, because I think it's caught on something in there. Oh, I see what happened. This accidentally went past the the ridge right there, so I have to, there it goes, push it through, sort of spread it and push it back through. It's really good to show that a toy can take a little abuse like that. And oh look, you can totally see Ozma right there, because that's how this thing is designed. Doesn't really break my suspension of disbelief that you can see him in the back of the Valkyrie. I heard that they actually did want to design, or Kawamori designed a whole armored cover that protects the pilot in the back, but whatever. It's a magic space plane powered by alien technology anyway, so I don't really care. So yeah, other than, actually we wanted to do this, didn't we? So here you just pop this front and it locks in place, and now we have the proper thrusting crotch look, which is entirely optional because again, you can just have it back like this and it still looks pretty good. It just helps you to get the thighs, intake, whatever, away from this whole area here to let it pose a little bit more. So yeah, not totally different as far as articulation goes. It still has, I think you saw it in the transformation, you do actually pull the forearm forward to let the double jointed elbow move, but still has that, still has this here. A little bit more die cast right there, I think. I think on the first one it had die cast on the shoulder block itself. This moves out. It's got a very tight bicep swivel right up here, but that works pretty well. Of course, a nicer, fully posable neck that doesn't require any kind of extra spacer piece. That's just kind of, the only thing I don't like is there's no chest like lock to keep this all together. Not that I've seen. I've tried to look at this thing pretty closely, but just, you know, don't bump it too much, because other than that it's pretty stiff and it looks very, very much like it should. This is the VF-25, the S-type, the Commander's type looks great. A lot of the joints are simpler now, which is a good thing, I think. It does have the ball-jointed hips, like a lot of newer Valkyrie toys. We're gonna have to see how well these hold up over time, especially when they release the armor pack, because that's all weight on the hip joints. This is a little loose right now, but I don't want to break it open just to see what's in there, but I hope it's a lot better than what they had in the last toy. Now, I've been avoiding this, if you couldn't tell, because I'm sure some of you remember that I did review the old DX Chogokin VF-25, and I wanted to do comparisons. Actually, I kept the toy just to do comparisons with this, and also because it was falling apart. This is the state of my old VF-25, the one I reviewed in a video way back when it came out. So, so what happened? So these hinges right here are rather notorious for developing splits. And this one, actually, when I went to check it out, it was totally broken. And I took off the upper body so I wouldn't break the thing even more, because I felt like that, you know, it would start to just destroy itself even more. And part of the problem with this is that this is in fact just part of this whole section here. I mean, it's a simple design, so these hinges, you can't really replace them without replacing the whole huge parts of the toy, which is unfortunate. I'm not really mad about the money, because, you know, it's just money, but I'm just disappointed that Bandai really half-assed this first toy. And I had said that this would do. This won't do anymore. I don't think this would do at the time. It's just that much of a disappointment, because I honestly think that they used the same gray plastic as the old. Cast your minds back to early 2000s when Yamato made those VF-11s. Not the new one, the old one. The pseudo 1/72nd scale toy that went in with the other two Macross Plus toys, and that was made of this kind of weird shining gray plastic that broke a lot, and this guy is too, so I really hope they didn't use the same gray plastic, but yeah. He's a bit of a disappointment. I do have a bag full of his other bits if you really want me to compare. You know, it's like, well, let's compare the head, which, without being attached to the body, looks a lot better because you can see it a little bit more. So let's pull this guy close and bring in his friend. So it's kind of personal preference if you like the painted eye details and the little head sensor than the clear stuff. I mean, this looks nicer under the light, but this will look nice, you know, no matter what the lighting conditions are. These aren't quite as good. They're a little bit tighter, but they're a little softer in terms of detail. The lasers themselves are a little bit thinner, but yeah. That looks pretty cool. You know, it looked pretty cool on the toy, but it was just, if you remember the old one, it was very hunched down between the shoulders. And I don't know, the other parts, they're nicer on the new toy. I mean, for one thing, the new toy has, you know, places to mount the arm packs, and the chest plate just fell out there, and other things like that. Oh, what else fell out there? Oh, look, the bit to that hinge. That was fun. Let's just do one little comparison here. Let's just see the chest plate. Yeah, they're not the same. They're not quite the same part at all. This one's actually a lot smaller than this one. So that we're just gonna let's forget about that other thing there. That's not. This is happy. This is joyous. This is a great toy. I'm very satisfied with it. And you know, just for a little bit of fun, we're gonna bring out. So we have the 25. So let's go back. Let's say let's get our buddy Mr. 22. VF-22S, VF-25S, VF-22S. And also one more back. Let's go with VF-19S, yeah, VF-19S, and also VF-17S. And boy, this is a lot of Valkyrie to fit in shot. Yeah, because little Ozma here is getting kind of overwhelmed by Mr. VF-17, who's a really beefy bastard. But you know, while we got him here, let's do a little bit of retrospective on the designs, just at the end. Because obviously, you can tell, because these guys have the same deal where the whole back part of the airplane here becomes the back part of the fighter. And Kawamori himself said that he thought that this design transformed more like the VF-19. It's kind of nice. You can also see the head lasers on this guy, if I can put him in shot a little bit. Very similar shape to the ones on this guy. Other things like, let's maneuver this a little bit. Like this whole chest area here is the same as this. You got the little hexagon shaped thing in the middle there, the whole idea of having the chest plate angled up, kind of draped over the front here. And you know, other little things. It's clearly these are both S-type Valkyries. Look pretty cool together. And I do want to reiterate that I don't begrudge Bandai too much for their screw up. It's just that at the time there was a little bit of a sort of an unspoken sentiment that with Bandai coming back to the Macross franchise for merchandising, they were going to show us how it's done, or you know, show these guys here how it's done. And well, this little secret shame here kind of just showed us that when Bandai half-asses it, it's just as bad as any company when they half-ass it. So, but still, in the end, this toy right here, this is a proper VF-25. Looks great, feels great. Fun to transform, except for that whole neck bit there. That was a little difficult, just trying to pull it and yanking it off. But you know, that's just this guy with his extendo neck. But other than that, this is great. Looks great with all the other dudes right here, all these other S-types right here. And looking at the improvements to this guy, I'm kind of worried that I'm going to have to buy another VF-27, which is still a good toy, but this one has shown me they can do it even better. So this has been another review for CollectionDX.com. Check out the tech review when it comes up later, because it's easier just to sit in front of a camera and do this than it is to, you know, take pictures and write shit. But anyway, hope to see your comments, except for you, Jim. Don't want to see your comments. And again, you should totally make a video response screaming Ranka's name like Alto does, because that's my favorite part of the show, is Alto showing us that he's an actor. But anyway, another review. Cool stuff, rambling at the end, but hey, Valkyrie toys, always awesome, especially the new ones. This stuff is great.